Good morning, guys. Hello. Let's see if it comes on. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. 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 Sorry, Facebook. The picture is appalling because of my iPad. Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Hi, guys. Nice to be back. Nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're all okay. I'm going to get started and get cracking because it's a nice short one this morning. Hello. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm starting to feel a bit more human. Gosh, it's wiped me out, this tonsillitis. It's a mean one. Anyway, hope you're okay. Thank you. I am getting better. I do have my tea. At least I was really struggling to enjoy tea, so at least I can enjoy that now. I'm going to have a big gulp before we start. I hope you're all okay. Yeah, sorry about the really poor quality on Facebook. We've got a crack right across the screen, right where the lens is, so I hope it's all right. Hello, please could you put a link to your Amazon shop? If you go on my website, Michelle, if you go on my website, go on the main homepage. If you scroll right to the bottom, there's a link there for you, lovely. All right. If not, there's one in my highlights, or I can send you one afterwards. Okay. So it's always there. But yeah, I can send it to you. So I hope you're okay. I'm going to get started because I'm super keen to keep these nice and short because no one's got loads of times to hear me rabbling on, have you? So this morning's activity I normally do, it's normally TUSPOT Tuesday, isn't it? However, I just wasn't feeling it today. I was lacking any sort of inspiration of what I wanted to do in the TUSPOT. So I thought actually, what I would like to set up is a little role play area for Mason because I quite often like to set things up that he's then actually going to use. So I'm going to set up a little role play area for Mace. I used to do this actually. I don't know if you've been following me for a long time, you'll know I used to do role play Wednesdays, which were really lovely. And I do miss doing those. I'll have to slip a little bit more role play in, won't I? I'm a big fan of role play and pretend play. I think it's brilliant. There are so many benefits to children engaging in pretend play, or known as role play as well. It's just brilliant, and it's creative. It's all the communication and the language. It's all about storytelling. It's their imagination. It's getting into character, it's getting into role. There's just all sorts you can do, and the great thing about it is you can also slip in some little bits of writing and little bits of number for a purpose and a reason, which is just always so much more effective than getting our little ones to sit down and doing writing or numbers, whatever. You can actually get them into role play, and then they're using them in the right context and they're actually practicing, and you'll find that they actually want to write and want to do their numbers maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to set up a really quick simple role play for Mason. If you're looking for some role play ideas, pretend play, I do have the mini pack of pretend play. These are one of our most popular because it contains 25 different role play ideas, and the way that I've done these ones, these my mini play prompts, is that it tells you the ideas, so like a shoe shop, and then it tells you all the ideas of things that you could put in, again, using things from around the house or maybe that you might pick up in a pound shop or something. And then it also has some keywords that you can maybe a bit of language that you could get your little ones practicing. And there's 25 different ones, and there's a real variety there. Because it's really nice, particularly if your child has a keen interest in something, to try and get some sort of role play in there, because it can be really effective. And it's the kind of thing, guys, once you've set up, you can at least leave it out for a week, 2 weeks. You get started when you set it up. I'll talk about this more later, but about how you get your kids playing with it, how you teach them to play with it. That's really important. Don't just set up a shop or something and then step away and think, right, they're going to go play with that for ages, because they're not. You do need to teach them how to use it. But then once it is set up and once you have played with them, it's the kind of thing that they return to independently. A little bit like when they've got a kitchen, they just know how to go and crack on with it. Is that if you teach them right at the beginning how to use it properly, it can then be really effective, and they will quite often return to it independently. So all I'm setting up for Mason this morning, he's really into his police at the moment. We're doing loads of police play. Excuse me. Oh, my throat is just so sore. He's doing loads of police play, so I'm going to set him up a police station. It just lends itself to it, doesn't it? Now, Mason is a little bit older, so that's worth bearing in mind. He's 4 now, so he's at the point where he's able to use his imagination, he's able to use his experiences and maybe programs that he's seen to imagine and pretend what a police station would be like. However, if you're just starting to do role play with your little one, start with something like a home corner, a kitchen, something very basic, something from around the home that they will see you or your partner or just family life doing and that they can copy. It's really important when you set up role play that it's something that your child has experienced more than once. So that's why a kitchen can be really effective. And then maybe once you're ready to move on, maybe a cafe, a shop, something like that where they've been lots and lots of times, but then maybe try and do a visit and link it in and talk about it and that sort of thing. Try not to go too abstract, where they may, like a travel agents for a really young child might be really hard for them to do. Mason's a little bit older now, so he may be able to imagine and pretend and things, but it needs to be something that they've actually experienced. So keep it simple, keep it to things that they do experience with you. You know, if you are regularly heading to Aldi, make a little version of Aldi. Or I'm a regular at the post office because my orders and things, so we do quite often play post office with Mason, but that's because he's experienced it, he's seen it, he sees what happens, he sees what it's like being a customer, and he also sees the role of taking on the cashier and the staff as well, so that sort of thing. So he is a little bit older, so I am going to do a really basic police station. And I'm just going to show some really easy bits and pieces that I'm going to put into there. So we do have some bits and pieces because he's been into police for some time now. We do have the little uniform, he's got hats, things like that. And I actually, fancy dress and clothes like this are really effective for helping children to take on a different role. But don't panic if you don't have a set, you know, like a doctor set or anything like that. Don't feel like you need to go out and buy things, because actually what can be really effective, good morning, what can be really effective is some sort of lanyard. Having some sort of badge or lanyard that a child can put on automatically helps them to get into role. Once they put that on, I'm a policeman. And it can be really effective. It might just be a little name tag. It might just be, you might have some hats. You might have some little high-vis little jackets. They're brilliant. These sorts of things. If you have any sort of high-vis little jackets, you can pick them up in the pound shop. They're so versatile. They can use those for all sorts of things. Police, firemen, fighter, rather, sorry, same fireman, builder. They're so versatile, these sorts of things. So don't feel like you need to be buying outfits for all different types of fancy dress and for role play. But actually, some sort of lanyard can work really well. Piece of ribbon with something around the bottom. This is just one that I've had on a course before, and it's got a piece of card in, and on the front, don't know if you can see it's backwards, that I've just put a little picture saying Mason. There's some police stickers on there, pictures of Chase, Paw Patrol, and putting on that he's a police officer. And actually on the back it has a doctor's one as well, so it works for both, and I can slip that piece of card in. So if you've got anyone that goes on courses or anything like that where they get those lanyards, make sure you grab them, don't bin them, because they're really handy for role play, and you can change them up so easily. And like I said, you don't need to go and buy the outfits. Actually, just putting on some sort of tag can really help children get into role and get into character. And then I've got bits and pieces from like Peppa Pig magazine with a badge. We've got handcuffs and keys. Of course, keys you need for locking away those baddies. So I'm just going to put those on there. So we've got some props and things, and they really help them to get into character. And then, of course, because police always have a donut and coffee, don't they? On all the programmes that Mason watches on YouTube, they're always having a coffee and a donut. And Mason the other day asked me why they always have it. I was like, I don't know what it is. Okay, and then the idea is keep it really simple. If you're setting up a role play area, keep it simple. Try not to put too many things in there, because with everything, with all sorts of toys, too much can be overwhelming and make it difficult for children. So keep it really simple. I mean, you can go to town on these things, and it's really exciting if you're setting it up, but let's be realistic. We've got a couple of minutes to set it up. Either they're napping or they're at preschool. We haven't got time to make it gorgeous, and actually it doesn't need to be. It just needs to be really, really basic. Just like a shop can be tins out the cupboard with a little pot of coins. That's all you need, and get their imagination going. Too many props can actually distract them from their play, and they can get caught up in what they're meant to be doing. So all I'm going to add in now are bits and pieces. Oh, I've got a magnifying glass. I'm going to add in some bits and pieces that will support his, like, either his language, his written, or his like number work and stuff. So for any sort of communication, encouraging children to speak, as and where you can, if you've got an old mobile phone, or this is like a little plastic police radio, or I've got my lovely retro one here. I got this on Gumtree. This is like my favourite. Popping in pretend phones, microphones, anything like that where encourage little ones to speak can be really effective, particularly if they don't think anybody's listening, and they can probably have a big old conversation on the phone. They may not be speaking, they may be making sounds, they may be making the odd words, they may not be speaking in full sentences, but that's fine. It's just all practice. Let them get into character, let them use them and speak into them. So having those is brilliant. But also don't forget, on a telephone you've got all those numbers as well. So it's really great that they're seeing that numbers are in context. You know, we don't just use numbers for counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We also use them for when we need to use the phone. We need our numbers so we can ring people and that sort of thing. So it's just showing children that there are numbers and letters and words all around us in our everyday life, and that we don't just use them for counting or for reading or writing, that sort of thing. There's actually lots of purpose to them. So adding in pieces of items like a telephone, like an old phone. If you don't have an old phone, maybe a TV control or something. Kids will love quite often talking to one of those. They can be really effective because they can encourage children to speak into them, particularly if they don't think anyone's listening. So they can be really nice. Okay, and then I've got some bits and pieces. Oh, I was going to add in a map, just because a map's lovely for the police. Mason's really into his maps at the moment, and whenever he's a policeman in London. That's how he plays. So I've got a little London map there just to add to his play, because he's really curious about those at the moment. And then just some ideas for getting some more numbers and writing and letters involved. If you've got an old laptop, you might have an old laptop or a keyboard or anything like that, always really handy. I always have one of these. They're just fantastic. I know it's really random, so I don't know, they can be quite tricky to get hold of. Maybe in, like, I don't even know if a charity shop would have them because they're electronic. But family members, if anyone's been in any old keyboards or laptops or anything like that, they can be really effective because kids love, there's just something about typing on one of these and the noise it makes is just brilliant, and they can really go down on it. But again, they might just start looking and picking out the letters and numbers that they know, and it's just all about that role play. Good morning, hello. So I'm just setting up a little police station. So we've got all our stuff for helping them get into character. We've got some bits and pieces to encourage the speaking and language. We've got some keyboards and computers, things like that are always really nice. Anything with buttons is lovely, isn't it? Got a little stamp there. And then just a couple of bits and pieces. I've got a nice clipboard. You can get clipboards quite often in the pound shops. I'm sure I've seen them recently. Having a clipboard is always really handy. It's just a novel way of a different type of writing. Clipboards are great for getting some sort of outdoor writing involved as well. So it's always worth buying one that literally you don't need to spend more than £1 or whatever. And what I always do is tie on a pen. So you've always got a pen. So your child's not picking up the clipboard and then wandering around the house looking for a pen, just coming to ask you for a pen, because it's just going to break off their concentration, break them out of their play. So if you've always got a pen tied to it, they can just get on with it, and it just helps their play to flow, basically. So I've actually got some line paper there, just something a little bit different from Mason. Any old paper works really well. If you have got, like I'm setting up a police station, if you have got some police stickers you could stick on, that'd be great. There are some gorgeous printables you can get. If you type in Google free police printables or something like that, there are some lovely ones, and there's a really lovely lady that runs a great website on Instagram, and I will tag her in the next post in my stories, and you can get some great little downloads there. But even just normal paper as well is really nice, and kids love writing with biros, pencils, pens, chunky pens, have all sorts of different types of pens on offer to them. I have biros quite often because little ones sort of related to it being mummy's pen, or it's a grown-up's pen. You can only use a biro if you're a grown-up, and they really love that. So having some sort of biros and things to hand also. That on there, I'm really chucking them on. And then finally I've got like a little diary here, or maybe you could have a calendar. All really great because it's getting them to talk about using the days of the week. It's looking at the letters. They maybe might make some pretend appointments and using different times. It's just getting them to write for different contexts and just for different reasons. So yeah, I've got a little old diary there, 16, 17. Old diaries always worth holding on to and letting them have a good old play, and it doesn't matter if they ruin it, and they can talk about it. So I've got, excuse the dog. Thanks, Arch. really, that's all I'm going to set up for most days. So if you are looking to set up some sort of role play for your little one, once I've set this up, even though Mason's 4 and I do a lot of role play with him, when he comes to use it, I will actually sit with him and we'll take on the roles and we'll take it in turns. One to be the police officer and maybe one to be I might be the victim and come into the police station to report crime, or I might be, I don't know, come to confess that I've done something, and you take on that, or I might be the sergeant and I could show Mason and give him instructions of what he needs to do. And it's taking on those roles, and it's really important for you to model the language that you might use. So introduce the words like victim and crime and report and all those different words that they might use, so they're using it in the right context, and model how you would use the map, how you're going to use the clipboard and the diary, what you're going to do when the phone rings, and you know, all that sort of stuff, and really go into lots of detail. The dog's been quite needy at the minute, so please excuse me. Hello, darling. Hello. You can sit down, you can be in it. It's like Arch, isn't he? He just wants to be in. You can sit down. So yeah, so make sure, could do with a smaller dog, couldn't I, that doesn't block the screen. So make sure sorry, now for the dog hair. If you are setting up a little role play, take the time to teach them how to use it. And it's actually what we call like it's like scaffolding. It's showing them how to use it rather than just letting them get on with it and go and expect them to know how to play with it. Actually, you really need to teach them. And that's the same whether you're setting up a home corner, like a little kitchen or a shop or something like that. Take the time to teach them how to use it, and you will find that by taking that, it just needs to be 10 minutes, but by doing that, you'll find that they will play with it much more effectively and much better, rather than just playing with what they know how to play with. So they may just play with the phone or just on the keyboard. Whereas if you can tell a whole story and go through it all with them, it really sets the scene. It can really help them, because it's so easy for us to assume that they know how to use it when actually quite often they don't. And like I said, once you set that up, there will be times maybe if you're cooking dinner or you're doing bits and pieces that they may return to the police station or whatever. They may return to it and play with it independently. But yeah, so I hope that helps. Oh, and I was just going to say as well, sorry before I go, is that don't worry if they change it. You know, if I've set up a police station but actually becomes a post office, don't worry. If that's how they're choosing to play with it, let them do that. That's absolutely fine, because they're using it in a way that they understand, or maybe that they want to. And again, it's much more likely to be effective and useful to them rather than forcing it to be a police station. If he's not bothered, which I doubt, because it's all about police at the moment, but he may return to it and it may need to be a post office or whatever. Let them take it in their own direction. They're more likely to play with it much better. And also, role play, you'll find that children concentrate and engage in role play much better. Maybe first thing in the morning when they've had a good night's sleep, they've had some breakfast and all their needs are met. Or maybe just after lunch they've had a little nap, something like that could be really useful. All right, there you go. Right, so I'm going to finish there. So if you are wanting any more role play, pretend play ideas, I do have the mini pack of play prompts. The pretend ones are on the website, and these are one of my most popular, because I know lots of people looking to do role play but trying to think of different things other than just the kitchen all the time or post office or whatever. So there's loads of ideas in there. All right, so I hope you have a great day. Let me know whatever you're getting up to, whether you're doing any role play or you're doing something a little bit different. Let me know how you're getting on, and yeah, I'll see you soon. I'll be back later in stories. I'll be up to something, no doubt, and I'll let you know what I'm up to. I'm actually taking photos today of some new stuff coming out, so I'll let you know. All right, thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely day, happy playing, and I'll see you soon. Bye.